My name is Steve Ono. I am the author of Can Any Guitarist Even Dream? And I'm here to talk to you today about the bass guitar. The closest relative of the standard guitar in the orchestra is the orchestral bass. It is also tuned like the bass guitar, E, A, D, G. Just like the low four strings on a standard guitar. Standard guitars essentially are a bass tuned an octave higher with a couple of extra strings. E, A, D, G. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, that means, of course, that the standard orchestral bass and the bass guitar are essentially the same instrument. The real difference is the bass guitar has frets, okay, and those frets keep me in tune. If you're playing a standard acoustic bass, you'll need to put your finger exactly where the fret would have been if there was a fret. Okay? That's how you play in tune on one of those things. So here we go. Frets are my friends. They keep me in tune. Now, if I want to tune the bass to itself, I can go to the 5th fret of the 4th string and get the A for the A. And on the 3rd string, I can get my D for the D. And on the 2nd string, I can get my G for the high G. So tuning the bass is very similar to tuning a guitar. You just don't have a couple of extra strings. Now, on the left hand, we want to finger the 4 fingers, 4 frets, but that's obviously a lot harder on this instrument because they're much farther apart. So don't worry about trying 4 fingers, 4 frets in that location. Go for somewhere way up the neck, okay? Then try to work your way down the string until your fingers get used to spacing a much farther apart. Okay? Now, the big thing that happens on the left hand, though, is a lot of this kind of thing where you're on an adjacent string at the same fret. So get used to that, like at the 1st fret with 1 and 2, or at the 3rd fret with 2 and 3, or at the 4th fret with even the 4 and the 3. Now on the right hand, the usual bit is to pick with the 2 fingers in rest strokes. See how I'm resting against the next string. And that, of course, was a series of 8th notes, which is typical bass behavior from the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and even the 90s in rock and roll. If you want to bring in your thumb, you can also do thumb fingers, or you can hit it with your thumb, or pick it with your thumb, where I'm hitting it with the side of my thumb. There's also popping, where I pull the string, I let it slap back. Those are all special effects. Okay? Thump. And thumb and fingers, not just pizzicato, but other kinds of techniques as well. So what is the bass note of a chord? Hey, the bass note of G is G. So guess what a bass player plays? G. G is also the open string. That's the exact same note as the lowest G on a standard guitar, same as this G at the 2nd string 5th fret. But the low octave G, that's 2 strings and 2 frets lower, will give you the octave lower of a note. 2 frets, 2 strings higher will give you an octave higher. So I've got a low G down here and a higher G up here, or on the first string. Okay? Bass clef. Great big dogs fight animals, or good burritos don't fall apart. Those are the lines. G, B, D, F, A. G, B, D, F, A. Great burritos don't fall apart. How about all cows eat grass? All cows eat grass. For the lowest notes, especially the low G, F, or E, there's really only one choice. I can only play that G down there. But the A in all cats, I have two choices. I can either play it here at 5th fret on 4 or open 3. So A, C, E, all cows eat could also be A, C, E. And that's a very important basic realization. The other thing, too, is that we're going to be playing one note at a time, not chords. Bass playing is not really about playing chords. They don't really sound very good. Here's an example of that. This is the G chord, lower 4 strings of a standard G chord shape on a guitar. And I'm going to strum it. Anybody enjoy that? It's pretty indistinct, isn't it? That's the usual way that a bass player will play those 4 notes, not a strum, but individual notes one at a time with a particular timing. Which brings up the subject of kick drums and bass. You want to be where the kick drum hits. Boom, ah, boom, cha, boom, cha, ah, boom, boom, pa, boom, 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 pa, boom, 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 pa, boom. Those are all standard kind of motions, and you want to be listening to that drummer. See you next time. Bass guitar.